chuk, 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 chuk. Chuk, 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 chuk. Chuk, 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 chuk. Hi, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan. I'm your hostess. We're so glad that you're here. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about journaling. And I'm not talking about journaling your feelings or Bible verses or stuff like that, but this is more important. This is household journaling that I do, and I started journaling on my garden years ago when I did companion gardening, and I still do the companion gardening, and I didn't bring out the sheet that I use for that, but I'll start with the garden since it's on top. This is my garden and seeds for this year. In the back of the book, I have a list of all my seeds, and in this list I will put notes in there about how many days it is to harvest, how deep to plant the seed, what type of year you want to plant, whether it's full sun, partial shade, or full shade, how far apart you might want to plant your plants if you don't know that already. But different things, and I've got all my seeds listed in the back. I mean, just pages and pages of seeds. And I leave space because a lot of my seeds come from a local feed store, and they don't have all the directions on it. So I go online, like this page here. I'm going to go online, and I'm going to look up all the information and write it in. And that takes a little time, but it's worth it because then later on, I already have an inventory of all the seeds I have. These are most all of these are in the freezer except for my flowers. And then in the front, I have began writing out what I have already planted, where it's planted. These are in fire rings. I got strawberries planted in a bathtub. I got 3 rings of onions planted. The date that they were planted, the date they were planted, and how long it takes for harvest, and approximately what month that I can harvest those items. So this is going to help me tremendously with our garden plans. I haven't made out a big sketch of the garden area. Usually every year I will do a sketch of the garden area and what I'm planting in each area. And because our property is about 75% sand, that means 75% of our land is not suitable to plant in. And right now, our main garden area is along our driveway because that's the good fertile ground and where the old chicken coop was. So that's fertile ground. So those are, 2 of the areas that we are going to be planting. And then we have purchased these mineral the mineral salts they use for cattle. We bought the tubs, not the actual mineral blocks, but the tubs that they came in, and got a really good deal on it. And my husband has been drilling holes in the bottom of these tubs, and we're going to use them for planters. We're going to clean them out really good. We're going to put probably a layer of gravel in the bottom, or some broken pottery in the bottom, so that it can drain really well. And then we will fill it with potting soil and black cow, and then plant whatever we're planting in it. So we're trying to get away from having to plant everything in the ground. I can't do it. He doesn't have time to get out there and till and lay the landscape fabric and everything. So that's just some garden tips. My next big book And I wrote on here home canning inventory because when I started, I was thinking, well, this is going to be for home canning. It's turned out to be a pantry, what we have on hand guide. And in the front, I list all the items. This happens to be meats that I canned, how many I have on hand, and how many I've used. And I've done it for beans, vegetables, jams, fruit, relish, and peppers, because those are the, things that we have most of. Under the relish, I put all my condiments. So it just makes it a lot easier. And I know about how many jars I have on hand if I keep up with my records. In the back of the book, this is what my husband and I have been working on this week, is we're going through our 3 little freezers, and we're going to, I'm putting tick marks beside each column of what we have in that freezer, and we're hoping that we can take all our meats and get it into one freezer, and then the other 2 freezers will be all our vegetables, and then the last freezer will be our fruits and flour, seasonings, stuff like that we want to put in the freezer temporarily. And we should have an overflow in that freezer also for anything that doesn't fit in the other 2 freezers. So we have gone through 2 of the freezers. We've got 1 more freezer to go through, and it's the one that's got the most in it. And then we will have a better understanding of what we have on hand. For instance, I kept telling him, we don't have any ground beef. And ground beef in the store, y'all, Sam's Club has gone up to $40 for a 10-pound roll. And we were buying it for about $20 a little over a year ago. So that tells you, $2 a pound compared to $4 a pound is a big jump. We have a local store here that ran an ad, and they have the 73% Black Angus for $2.69 a pound. So guess where we're going to be shopping at? And I don't particularly like the 73%, but if that's what we're going to be able to afford, that's what we're going to be able to afford, and we're just going to have to deal with it. The groceries prices have gotten higher. The gasoline has gotten higher. And having your pantry well stocked will save you in the long run. Don't run out and get an item because the recipe calls for it. Use what you have on hand. Make it your own. So this is what we're doing. And the reason I'm doing this with all 3 freezers is that we're going to be combining, like the meats are going to go into one freezer. The vegetables are going to go into one freezer, and I want to know what I have in there and how many I have in there. And then at that point, I can make a column of how many I have on hand, and then I can put the tick marks of the used on the side. So that will be a biggie for us. So we also have dry goods. Dry goods being flour, sugar, meals, your nuts, your beans, rice, things like that. And then I also have a pantry that is nothing but my seasonings. So having all of these areas covered in something like this will come in really handy, and I will know when I need to go to the store and replenish. You can, if you don't want to do a binder like this, you can get you clipboards, put your piece of paper on there, write it down, hang it up in your pantry. Really simple. When you've used everything on that sheet, start a new one. My last book is the Fly Lady System. And you can go to her website and you can look at it. I like her system. I did not like her website. Her website was a total mess. You had to search for everything. It wasn't well organized. And I'm a person that likes it to be well organized. But I have done like I do with my recipes. I've made it my own. And I think the lady's really sweet for even putting this out there for free for people to get into. But she has recommendations for your morning routine, your afternoon routine, your before bedtime, your zones, and your weekly blessings. And I have pretty much stuck to those. And I've added she has a basic weekly plan where you clean out your fridge, you write your grocery list, and you clean out your paperwork. And I've done days of the week, and I've done months, and my month is April. And so this is what I plan on doing in April. And April, I can do this on any day, any one of these items on any day of the month of April. And if I don't finish the list, I don't sweat it, because I know it's going to roll back around and it's going to get done eventually. I'm slower because I've been recuperating. I started this back last fall. So I hadn't really gotten that far advanced on it. But two of the things I liked was she had a virtues and an inspiration. And the virtues page is things that I am or I will accept. And my inspiration, I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to be closing this out shortly. But this is from the Christian Homekeeper. I don't think she has this on her page anymore, but I wish she would put it back up because it was really inspirational to me. It says, a call to reuse when you can. Make do with what you have. Seek out and use local agriculture. To make what you can for home use. Make everything you can from scratch. To seek out and learn new ways to be frugal. To develop a spirit of creativity in managing your home. To feed and clothe your family well. But to live within your means. Use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. And that's pretty much become my motto. And I just absolutely love it. I found her years and years ago, and I started writing down all her home recipes for cleaning supplies, because I was going through, didn't know what was going on with my body. I was having reactions to everything. And she had a lot of good recipes on there, and she was just very inspirational to me. And I actually found her on Facebook, and she has a private group on Facebook. So that's one place you can find her. The Flow Lady uses zones, and I have broke mine down into 5 zones, and each week I have a zone, or partial week I have a zone, and I do whatever I think needs to be done in that room. And I went off the wall, and I made sure that I covered everything I thought needed to be done on a weekly basis or a monthly basis for that area. And then I've added holidays, what to do for holidays. I have a church card list, and then I have a mailing list in here because I can't ever find my address book. I have birthdays and anniversaries because I'm really bad about forgetting dates. I don't send cards for those, but I will make a phone call. And that's basically my fully loving yourself journal, the Fly Lady system. And I'm still learning from her. I've learned a lot of things. You know, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but, you know, I've been years and years, I kept my house spotless, immaculate, because my mother was a perfectionist. And then I had children. And then I realized I can't get everything done in a day. I can't keep up. And part of it was because I had health issues. And the other part of it was I wanted to enjoy my family. Unlike my mother was constantly cleaning and picking up and doing things. And I wanted to be able to live a little bit cluttered, it's okay. I found that housework will be there tomorrow if you don't get it done today, so I don't sweat it like I used to. And as I aged, I just didn't really care anymore what other people think. We live here, it's lived in. So that's, my motto now is it's lived in, ain't it? But we do try to keep the kitchen area clean, the bathrooms clean, of course the bed's made, the laundry kept up. The floors may or may not get done, you know. We live on a farm, so even if I mopped and vacuumed the floor every day, it still looked the same. We have pets, so we're going to have pet hair everywhere. We live in the country, we're going to have dust. So those are things that, we're going to be fighting that battle for the rest of our life. My point is that these journals help because I am aging. I forget things. It helps me to stay on track. I don't do Bible journaling. I tried that. I'm like, no, this ain't for me. I don't do a personal journal, where I write down all my feelings. I did that when I was a teenager. But I do find that these journals for home use will be your best friends. It will help you stay on track, keep you motivated. So I hope that you'll take into consideration that you can make these. You don't have to have any special templates. You don't have to go buy the books. You can make your own and make do with what you have. Now, I picked these up after the school supplies end at the end of the season. Usually they start selling them in August for school, and by September they have marked them way down. I think I paid 25 cents a piece for these, each one of these, and they come in handy. And I'll buy up as many as I think I'll need. I always get extras because I know my grandkids are going to need them. So even with that, I'm frugal. Do what you can with what you have and make it your own. May you be blessed.